Hey guys, Troy with cleveland.com here, and we have a special guest with us. It is WWE superstar Seth Rollins, who's in town for Sunday's pay-per-view. Now it's tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs this time around.
Hey, you're the first guy this morning who's got it right, so yeah, absolutely.
A little added bonus for fans. I'm curious, you're in the main event against John Cena. What is your mindset like just a few days before a big pay-per-view like this?
You know, there's a lot of pressure involved with a big match like this, a main event against a guy like John Cena on a staple now of the WWE pay-per-view schedule and TLC. But I thrive under pressure. This is something I've always wanted. This is a position I've always wanted to be in. I'm really looking forward to entertaining the WWE universe one more time and stepping up and kind of showing John Cena that he's got some young bucks nipping at his heels.
Now, you were in TLC last year with the Shield. This event is sort of billed as one of the most violent pay-per-views. Do you feel that going in? Is it different than the other ones?
Yeah, I think this year we've kind of dubbed it the Demolition Derby of WWE, because that's kind of what happens. We've got, like you said, we've got a tables match between me and John. You've got a ladder match with Harper and Ziggler. You've got a stairs match with Rowan and Big Show. You've got a chairs match with Ryback and Kane, and then you've got the TLC match with Wyatt versus Ambrose. So you look at all these matches, there's so much chaos that's going to take place throughout the entire night. I think all of us as performers understand that TLC is a little bit more dangerous than, your average pay-per-view. So we're going in there, with a different mindset that anything can happen.
How does it feel when you're in the ring with a superstar like Cena? Because for fans, they've gotten familiar with you for a couple years. Cena's been sort of the face of the WWE for a decade now. Do you feel that sort of step up? Like, this is a huge match. What's it like competing with him?
Yeah, I treat every match like it's a big match, but there's definitely a different air, feeling in the air when it's John Cena, because like you said, he's cemented kind of his spot in the history and the legacy of WWE, and when it's all said and done, he may go down as the greatest WWE superstar of all time. He's had 15 championship reigns. He's transcended entertainment, and he's one of the guys who stuck around, kind of, you know what I mean? So he's a wrestler's wrestler. So being in there with John, there's definitely a different feeling in the air, different vibe, whether that's on live events, whether it's on Raw, or in this case a big one, pay-per-view. It's an honor to step in the ring with him, but it's also a proving ground for me. We all want to be in John's spot, and I certainly plan on pushing him to his very limit.
So let's look at, we know the pay-per-view is coming up Sunday, but this has been a big year for you. When you look back on 2014, what do you think? The biggest year of your career, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no question. And the years leading up to it were huge stuff we did with the Shield, but I mean, there's nothing like being Mr. Money in the Bank, you know what I mean? Being involved in a lot of huge moments, kind of breaking apart the Shield, Money in the Bank. Had an opportunity to main event, pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell with Dean Ambrose a couple months back, be a part of that major Survivor Series match with the debut of Sting, which is a pretty incredible moment to say you were in the ring for. Even if I was laid out the entire time, I still kind of got a feel for what was going on. So it's been a huge year for me, looking to really cap it off with a strong performance at TLC this Sunday.
Now, you mentioned Dean Ambrose. Obviously, you've been tied in with John Cena for the past couple pay-per-views. Fans really popular of your feud with Dean. Do you see you guys getting back into it at some point?
Well, Ambrose and I are different dudes in a lot of ways, but in one way we are very alike, and that's that we're both lifers. We're both going to be around for a really long time to come, so I can almost guarantee that our paths will cross sooner or later one more time in the WWE.
Well, you mentioned Money in the Bank. We've got the briefcase here. When can we anticipate you using this at some point? You almost used it once.
I've tried to cash it in a couple of times. I tried to cash it in on Cena, and I tried to cash it in on Brock at Night of Champions, but each time I've done it, I've been thwarted. So, the champ hasn't been around since I curb stomped him at Night of Champions, so that's kind of interesting. We'll see what happens when he shows up, but the champion's got to show up before I can cash it in, so we'll worry about that when we get there.
You're possibly right on the brink of a WWE title shot, maybe even winning the WWE title. What would that mean for you?
I mean, everything. Aside from main eventing WrestleMania, that's what I worked for my entire life, so it would be the realization of a lifelong dream, and I know that's as cliche and as stereotypical as it comes, but there's really nothing else I ever wanted to do with my life. And to be at the precipice of that situation, about ready to cash this in, maybe become one of the biggest stars in the industry today, that's a very surreal feeling to be real close to that.
Now, people are a huge fan of your finishing move, the curb stomp. Where did that come from? Because people remember with the Shield doing these death-defying things, flying through the air, and the main move is this devastating curb stomp.
Yeah, you know, the curb stomp came from a fellow that I worked with a couple times when I was in Ring of Honor. His name's Naomichi Marufuji. He's a rival of Hideo Itami, actually, who's down in NXT now. I wrestled with Marufuji a couple times, and I was on the receiving end of a couple curb stomps, and I thought to myself, well, hot dang, you know what I mean? That thing works pretty good, so maybe I'll bring it to the fold, bring it to the big time, and the opportunity, you know, kind of came up, and it seemed to fit, and I'm glad people are digging it. It seems to be quite effective.
Now, the pay-per-view is Sunday, but there's another special thing with the Tribute to the Troops, which you guys, I believe, taped already, and it'll air on the 17th.
Yeah.
What is that like? Seems like such a special environment. The troops are really pumped up to see you guys. How is it to be able to perform in front of them?
Oh, it's amazing, man. You know, the couple of days we do leading up to Troops and the show itself, the whole concept, which JBL actually came up with a dozen years ago or whatever. It's really incredible. It's a great way for us to give back, and you know, it's one of our more special shows that we do every year. You know, we have all of our big shows, our WrestleMania and stuff like that, but man, just being on the base, being with the soldiers and their families, and just seeing how much it means to them that we're there entertaining them, and really we're the ones thanking them for what they do, because they're the heroes, you know what I'm saying? They're the guys who protect our freedom, the men and women who do that on a daily basis. And you really, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. It's an incredible experience. I'm glad that I've been able to take part in that now for a few years. Now,
something that's interesting to me is you look at guys like Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan dealing with injuries, you're going into this violent pay-per-view. How do you prepare? Is it something that you have to push out of your head, a potential for something, you know, to happen, to get hurt? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, you know, the possibility is always there. You know, we know, most of us, what we got into when we signed up to do this gig. I've been doing it 10 years, and I've had my fair share of injuries over the past few years. I've been relatively healthy, though.
Right.
Knock on wood. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with you know, the way I take care of myself now, the conditioning and the you know, kind of stuff that I put myself through to make sure that I'm at my best on a daily basis. You know, a lot of people look at my style and they try to, you know, pigeonhole me and say, oh, you know, he's just asking to get hurt or whatever, because, you know, I take a lot of high risks, because for me, they're not high risks. For me, that's just what I do, you know. It's just, I don't know any other way to be Seth Rollins than that. So for me, they're not big risks. I enjoy what I do. I feel better now at 28 than I ever have in my whole life. And it's one of those things where, like I said, we know it's not ballet. We know what we signed up for, and we do our best to try to prevent injury on a daily basis, but it's going to happen, you know, it's almost inevitable.
All right, now before I let you get out of here, give me a prediction for what fans are going to see, main event, tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
Yeah, the main event, you know, a tables match, so I can guarantee you that somebody's going through a table. I plan on beating John Cena. I plan on kind of staking my claim as a top dog in WWE. I think that John's had a stranglehold on that position for quite a long time. He may not be ready to give it up, but I'm ready to force him into giving it up. So it's going to be a hell of a time. Cleveland's in for a great show.
All right, appreciate you stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Rollins competing the main event at Sunday's Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and Stairs 2014 right here at the Q in Cleveland. It's going to be exciting. I'll be there. Hope to see you guys there.